In the press conference today, Chicago Bears head coach Matt Eberflus and GM Ryan Poles were asked about their offensive coordinator search. Well, we just got word that the Chicago Bears have asked for permission to interview one of Pete Carroll's former offensive coordinators. We're going to talk about all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, we have an update in the Chicago Bears offensive coordinator search, and the Chicago Bears are aiming right to the top, with Pete Carroll being removed as the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks that has now made his assistants available to be interviewed, and the Bears swooped in immediately, requesting an interview with Shane Waldron, their current offensive coordinator. And so this is going to be an interesting one, right? Matt Eberflus talked about today what they wanted to bring to that offensive team and what they were kind of looking for in an offensive coordinator. They wanted a veteran guy, a guy who's been around for a while, who kind of knows what to do, who can develop talent. And listen, Shane Waldron is definitely one of the guys that can definitely do that. When you look at it, he was hired in 2021. He's been an offensive coordinator under Pete Carroll for that time. But this is a guy who's been around the NFL for years and years and years as a head coach. And so when it comes down to it, it's definitely something that can be a good move for the Chicago Bears. This is probably one of the top candidates for offensive coordinator positions that's out there right now. And the fact that the Bears have moved aggressively to go out and interview him within 24 hours of him being available for other jobs, I think says a lot about where the Bears' mindset is on this. They want an offensive coordinator with experience that can come in and help guide and develop the quarterbacks and the offensive talent on this team, and somebody who can help shore up some of the things that Matt Eberflus isn't necessarily the best at. And this is an important part in that search. I really like the aggressiveness here from the Chicago Bears when it comes down to it. I love what they're doing as far as trying to bring this guy in immediately. Now, the Bears are going to still have to do some work. It's not as simple as that, but with that being said, they're going to have to try to convince him on what he's going to be able to do. Also, the vision of this offense, and whether that means going after another quarterback or bringing in Justin Fields, Shane Waldron is going to have to be committed to being able to develop and understand what he can get out of those players if he comes in and agrees to become the offensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears. I told you guys on today's daily episode, do not be surprised at all if the Bears move really quickly on this. And so with trying to fill out that coaching staff, there's a lot worse candidates that you can go after. I didn't even have this guy on my list of candidates that could replace Lugetzi because at the time he wasn't technically available. Like I said, with Pete Carroll being removed and moving on as the head coach with that Seattle team, this opened up an opportunity for the Chicago Bears to come in here and try to get something done. And what he's done with offenses, when you look at it and being able to really build an offensive game plan around the talent on this team. And I know there are some Bears fans that ask the question of, what does this mean for Justin Fields, right? Justin Fields learning another offense. And the fact of the matter is, I think us as fans, we make more of it and I've said this before in an episode, make more of it than what it is in reality of a quarterback adapting to a new system and learning in a new system. And a smart offensive coordinator anyway is going to make sure that he makes that barrier of entry as easy as possible. And so it's not this thing where you have to take a year or two to learn an offense, which a lot of Bears fans, I see a lot of Bears fans commenting on as if every time you learn an offense, that means you have to give a season or two until he gets a grasp of it. And that's not the case. And so the Bears moving quickly on their offensive coordinator search and trying to bring in and solidify so then they can build out the rest of the staff at that point is the best thing for everybody involved, because then we can get that playbook. The offensive coordinator who's coming in can start looking at the talent that we have, try to start building that system and to get that terminology and things down with the players that are currently on this team, and then go ahead and alter stuff as we go through free agency, as we go through the draft, things like that. So make no mistake about it. If Justin Fields still stays on as the quarterback one of the Chicago Bears going into the 2024 season, Shane Waldron is going to make that barrier and that access as easy as possible for every member on that offensive team. Like I said, we talk about things as if it's just Justin Fields. It comes down to a lot more than just that. It's so many other players and pieces of this offense, regardless of what happens with Justin Fields as well, that this is going to impact. And the coaching staff is going to make sure to have those guys ready because they understand the importance of what this could bring for the Chicago Bears. And Shane Waldron, I would say, is probably one of the best candidates out there right now I still have other guys like that I definitely do like if this doesn't end up working out for the Chicago Bears. But this is a good stepping stone as well. This is a great place to start. When you look at what he's done around the league already. Now, he hasn't coached a whole heck of a lot of young quarterbacks, and that may be the thing that may be the biggest sign for concern. But again, he's a guy that's worked with quarterbacks before. He's a guy that's built offensive systems before. He's a guy that also is going to build a solid enough system around your run game and your passing game that you can trust that he's going to get the most out of it. So again, and much like I talked about in another coaching opportunity that I talked about, he is a McVay guy as well. And so that is another opportunity to look at for sure. And so listen, Waldron being on their list is not something that I'm surprised about. He's not going to be the only offensive coordinator that they interview either. You're probably going to see a round of probably about 3 or 4 interviews as the Bears are looking to really get this done. But like I've said before, I will not be surprised at all if around by this time next week, we already have it locked in on who the offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears is going to be. But again, this is a step in the right direction, and I like the direction that they're going in. Let me know what you guys think on everything down below. As always, make sure you're following the show at Shy Bear Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bears related. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.